Okay. Girl, I got the 401, move the 401. Sipping lemonade while I shake.
Hi everyone, it is Kayla got the 411. I'm back again another week with another amazing artist with this new segment I have called What's Good. Pretty much interviewing a lot of talented artists and also playing their music on my YouTube channel on my What's the Reaction video. So people who are watching the What's the Reaction, they're going to be getting a taste of some new fresh music of artists that they may have never heard of. So today I have Miss Cecily. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, you did. That's correct.
Miss Cecily, I'm so happy to have you on here. I always get a little more excited when I have a female on the show. I'm all about girl empowerment, but we're not going to tell the men that's been on the show. So since this episode is called What's Good, I want to ask you, what's good with you? Are you okay? How's your family going with COVID? That's like the first thing I want to ask everyone. How are you doing?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm doing really well actually. It's been an interesting year.
Yeah.
It's taught me a lot about going with the flow and figuring out, just being a little quieter, having a little more peace, taking some time to listen and figure out what's next. So I think that this
Yeah.
year has personally been a blessing for me, just in terms of introspection, I'd say that, and reflective time. And my family's doing well.
Yeah.
I feel really
That's good.
blessed that everyone, no one's been truly affected by COVID. So no complaints
That's
over
good.
here. Everything's good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been working from home since March, and like you said, it has been a adjustment with my daughter. She's doing online classes, but I am thankful that I'm even able to work because a lot of people haven't been as fortunate as I have been to be able to still work from home and still be able to do my creativity also. So has COVID affected you? Because I know that you did a virtual concert for DC Jazz Festival. So how was that? Was it new for you or did it just feel the same? Because you do a lot of live shows anyways on YouTube.
Yeah. It's been interesting. I've done a couple of shows with my band for
Yeah.
live festivals or live stream festivals as they are now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting performing with no audience, but I think that at least with my band, we were just so excited to be back together and playing music together again that we just had the energy anyway, even without the audience. You
Yeah.
kind of have to imagine the audience being there. But overall, it's been an interesting time, and I was actually just talking to my dad today about live streams and how I feel like most people still haven't found like the happy spot, like still
Yeah.
trying to figure out like which platform is best, and what approach should it be? Free, should you monetize it, like how to make it feel like an
I
experience
know.
and not just someone scrolling through their feed like normal. And we're still figuring it out, but I feel really blessed that
Yeah.
I've had some good opportunities to perform even in the midst of this. So
Yeah, and since you speak of that, I actually found you on Instagram doing promotions. Oh, I get a lot of artists. Since I'm working with a lot of artists each week, a through come by, but only a few kind of catch my eye. And once I find someone who music touches me, I go to their page, and then I go to their YouTube. I go on like a whole day of just trying to get to know the artist. And I reached out to you because I think you are so talented. What really brought my attention to you was your visual EP for The Awakening.
oh,
Cecily,
wonderful.
that was the most beautiful EP I've ever. I've said this to so many people because you only
Thank
have
you.
4 songs on your newest EP. Well, it's not new, but it's the most newest release of music in 2019. There was 4 songs, but they was 4 of the most best powerful songs. So what made you put 4 songs on the EP? Because this is part one.
It's part one, so I'm actually releasing the first single for part two in just a few weeks, which is
Oh,
exciting. Um, but yeah, I think, originally I had planned to do more songs. I was just gonna do one album called Awakening, and
oh,
it was gonna be, you might have noticed through the video and through the songs and the lyrics
yeah.
and things that it's exploring unconditional love. That's really what
Mm-hmm.
the foundation of the music thematically is about. And so originally I was planning on doing one album, But I realized through the process that
Yeah.
there's no way to kind of touch on all the things I wanted to touch on in
Yes.
just a few songs. But, I wanted to put it out, and I had gotten a
Mhm.
grant from my local arts council to put out new music,
Yeah,
to
they
make
helped
the
fund this
album.
project. So congratulations on that also, because
Thank you.
beautiful. And the main single on this album is called Clumsy. And it really touched me because I'm going through a little thing where being in the house and working, I'm starting to reflect on me. And I had a panel last week called All the Single Ladies, where I just gathered a group of single ladies and we all talked about our own struggles with dating, not just men, but certain things that we go through too and that we can work on. So
Mm.
I'm going to play the single Clumsy, and then we're going to talk about the lyrics because they really touched me. I was like, I keep getting all these messages about these things. I definitely need to work on myself. So let me play it now. This single is called Clumsy. So I cannot I don't know myself. I can't hold it. I can't hold myself. I can't love yet. I don't love myself. I don't love myself. Wait. Oh, it's you. I'm gonna keep playing this part. Such simple words, but such a powerful statement. And I wrote down some of the lyrics that really touched me when you said, please forgive my clumsy fingers. They can't hold a heart. The more I want it, the more I tremble, insecure from the start. So what was your inspiration behind Clumsy?
I wrote that. What's funny? I wrote the first verse and chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember exactly when, but I think it was when I had first met my now husband. And, at the time, like I was in my mid 20s and I was just like
Yeah.
dating, just I was on dating apps and I was meeting lots of people
Yeah.
and, getting to know lots of people. And then I met him and I realized that this was something that deserved for me to kind of take other people out the equation and just focus on that, just focus on him, just
Mm-hmm.
focus on us. But I
Yeah.
realized that like I maybe wasn't ready to do that just because
Mm-hmm.
I just like, I don't know, I just found it difficult to kind of like settle in at first. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's when I wrote those first few words, but I actually don't remember because when I sat down to write the actual
Yeah.
album, I was kind of flipping through old journals and things and I came across that and I was like, oh yeah, I really like this idea. Let me kind of work on
Yeah.
it. And yeah, so I believe that's around the time that I wrote it. But really, what it was is I had been reading this book called How to Love by this writer called Thich Nhat Hanh, who's like a Zen Buddhist teacher and writer. He's one of my favorite writers and human
Yeah.
beings, honestly. Just his writing is very foundational, like, inspirational for me.
Yeah.
And he has a quote where he said, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but he
Mm-hmm.
basically said, we can love someone, but in our clumsiness, we can still hurt them. He said,
Yeah.
if we don't know how to love, we'll
Mm-hmm.
wound the person that we love. And
Yeah.
I thought that that was so real because it was when I met my husband that I realized that I needed to learn how to love. Like I needed to read these
Yeah.
books. I needed to learn these things. I needed to take the time to understand what it really means to listen to someone and be patient with someone
Mm-hmm.
and be compassionate and fully accept someone how they are without wanting them to change,
Yeah.
without trying to bend them into who you want them to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I just when I read that quote from Thich Nhat Hanh from How to Love, I just as a songwriter, I really love the word clumsy. I just thought it was such a
Yeah.
good word, and
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to kind of. I think that's when I wrote that lyric is after I had read that quote from him, and so it was kind of a process. But I think when I actually sat down to write the album, I had already written the first verse and chorus, and then it was
Yeah.
just a matter of figuring out where to take the song. And that's, I think, the hardest part of the song to write was actually the bridge because I wanted
Oh,
to,
that was the most powerful part.
yeah.
Yes. And even learning love languages too. I know I kind of got into love languages because I had to. I'm 29 now. It took me a good little minute to realize, Kayla, everybody's not going to love how you love. Everybody's not going to communicate how you love. And I started reading the love languages books. And anytime I would talk to people, like, do you know your love language? Why don't you know your love language? And when you don't know how to love, you're just going through a maze, you're trying to figure it out. And as you're going through that maze, you end up hurting people, not meaning to, because you
Yeah.
just don't know how to love. You're just going with the flow. And that's why I related to that song. Such a beautiful, beautiful song. And video also. Who
Thank
was
you.
the director for the video?
The person who directed the Awakening visual EP and the music video for Clumsy was the same woman. Her name is Terrell Siobhan, who's also a
Ooh,
DC based creative and filmmaker.
I love that. And she's from your hometown. That is perfect. So how did
Yeah.
you get into music? Because I read your bio, of course, but your story is very interesting because you have been working for music for a long time, but you was in college and you decided to say, hey, I'm just going to pursue music full time. Was that scary for you?
I can't remember. Honestly, it was the kind of thing that kind of slowly came over me. Like
Yeah,
there was one moment in particular I remember because I went to school and I studied political science because I always
yeah,
wanted to work in international relations. I was really interested in traveling and,
yeah.
diplomacy. And I just really wanted to work in international affairs. And so that's what I was focused on when I went to school. But I remember seeing someone perform at a music festival and just having this moment when I realized that I really wanted to be the one on stage. Just
Mm-hmm.
having this moment when I realized like maybe I'm supposed to be on the stage instead of in the audience. And then from that point and to the point that I kind of communicated that to my family and kind of started figuring it out for myself was probably like a year or so until I
Mm-hmm.
felt comfortable with that fact and kind of navigated some things in school and realized that maybe
Yeah,
working in international development and stuff wasn't really going to make me happy. And
yeah,
so it wasn't scary because I think I was nervous when I had that first conversation with my mom in particular,
yeah.
and but she kind of asked me some questions about why and but she was very supportive. My
That's
family has
good.
always been they made it feel easier even though it was a little
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
So did you come from a musical background? Like how did you even get into music?
Yeah, well, I started taking voice lessons when I was 12. And that
Okay.
was just because I loved to sing, but to myself. I was very afraid to
Yeah.
perform in front of other people. I used to sing in my room all the time, but I didn't want anybody
Mhm.
else to hear me.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw a flyer that mentioned voice lessons, and I had just stopped doing piano because I just never wanted to practice. I just wasn't into piano as
Yeah.
much as I thought I should be. And so I was looking for something else creative to do, and I asked my mom about the voice lessons and she said, well, can you sing? And I was like, yeah, I can sing. And so I sang for her in the kitchen and she was
She was
like,
like,
oh, yeah, you
wow.
sound good. So she started paying for my voice lessons and I was in all the choirs. And so that was kind of the genesis of it. It was just this moment I saw this flyer that said voice lessons and I was like, I think I want to do that.
And now we are here today. And you have performed at a lot of great places. So out of all the places that you have performed at, what is your favorite venue?
Mm, that's such a hard question. I think it's a toss up between. I love an outdoor music festival. So any outdoor music
Mm,
festival,
I miss
um,
those so much.
I do. I miss it so much. I just the energy. You can't replace that
Hmm.
energy. And then when it's that perfect weather, it's just so nice. But I think if it's not an outdoor music festival, one of my favorite places to perform is in DC. It's called Blues Alley. It's like a small jazz club that's been there for decades. Everyone's
Ooh,
performed there from Ella Fitzgerald to literally everybody.
wow.
Especially in jazz. So every time I perform there, and I perform there, I think four times now, and it just always feels like a blessing to be on that stage, and I love how intimate it is.
Ooh. So you had a particular album that you won an award for. It was Best New Soul of Bandcamp. And I got a chance to listen to that album today. Now, my favorite single is Hope. So I'm going to play that at the
Ah,
end. I love Hope. I'm going to save that for the end. But I wanted to play Pisces because that was the first single off of the album. So you are a Pisces. I had an interview with another Pisces yesterday. I'm just meeting so many Pisces. I'm a Libra, if you want to know. And I've been listening to your Awakenings, what is it called? Awakenings Meditations. So
oh,
today I got
wonderful.
to Earth. So next week is Fire. So I see that you're really big into that. So what made you name the single Pisces?
You know, I don't even remember. I think, I wrote the song. Everything I write is, from personal experience and really
Yeah.
is focused inward a lot of the time. And I'm a Pisces, and the first few lyrics I wrote for that song were inspired by this moment when I was doing study abroad. I was in Ghana in college,
Ooh,
and we went to this waterfall and we swam in the waterfall, and
yeah.
it felt so cleansing. It felt just amazing. And
Yeah.
so the first few words I wrote for that song came from that experience. And I felt like that experience was just enhanced by the fact that I'm a water sign and I just love water. And so I just decided to call
Mm-hmm.
the song Pisces because I thought it was an interesting title and that it said a lot about me in one word. So yeah, but it's really for
That's so
anybody.
interesting. Most water signs I know, especially Pisces, they are amazing, amazing swimmers. And I can't swim. I get very fearful of water, but my daughter, she's a Scorpio. Her rising is a Cancer and her moon is a Scorpio.
Oh,
So
wow.
she pretty much taught herself how to swim. She didn't
Wow.
need lessons. I mean, she got in the water and she was gone. And I said, that must be a water sign thing. So we're going to play the single Pisces off of the album Songs of Love and Freedom. Let me play that now. And we're opening up with the water sound. Perfect. Ghana, I almost kind of can picture you there by you explaining the inspiration behind that song. So I know you said, so you're currently married, because I like to ask everyone, because a lot of your songs are about love. So how long have you been married, and is your husband a big inspiration behind your music?
So we've been married for 3.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's definitely inspiration behind a lot of my music. One song on the new project, Awakening Part One, called No Room for Fear, is actually inspired by him. I kind of wrote that song about him. And
Oh,
another song on the project, Acceptance, I didn't write it about him,
love
but I
acceptance.
thank you. Yeah, I love that song too. I kind of wrote that song for him. So I think he definitely inspires a lot of my work. And like I said, most of my stuff is very self-reflective, and
Yeah.
it's about me. I guess that's selfish. I don't know, but most of it's about me. But yeah, I have written some songs that are inspired by him for sure.
Very relatable too. And what is your creative process? Like, do you write music down or do you just go and just freestyle?
So usually, the first few lines of a song will kind of just come to me either with lyrics and melody together. Like that's what happened with Clumsy. That's what happened with No Room for Fear with Pisces. Almost
Oh,
almost all my
wow.
songs kind of start that way. I just kind of hear it and then I just make a little voice memo on my phone, and then I'll eventually go back to it, and then I usually will take that to a friend of mine who plays, because I don't really play an instrument that well. So I'll
Yeah.
take it to a friend who plays piano or guitar, and we'll kind of start building from there. And they'll kind of write a chord progression underneath my melody. And kind of form the structure of the song. And then I'll go back and I'll finish writing all the lyrics, and, we'll figure out if we want to do a bridge. And it's a very collaborative process, but it usually starts with kind of idea I already have, or if a instrumentalist I'm working with, they kind of have like an instrumental idea that I
Yeah.
like, I'll kind of listen to it and I'll just flip through my journal and see if there's anything I have that I feel like could fit with that.
Oh,
And so
wow.
usually my songs start in my journal and in
Mhm.
my voice memos, and then kind of just build from there.
Well, I've noticed a pattern of most of the singers I've had on this segment. They normally get an idea, do a voice note, write it down, come back to it, and kind of build the song into a whole. Wow, that is so unique. So, since you spoke of the song Acceptance, I'm going to play Acceptance off of Awakening Part 1. I've listened to that song multiple times.
Oh.
Hear this song on Insecure. Do you watch Insecure?
I do, yeah.
I can definitely hear this song on there.
Mm.
We're gonna put it in the universe.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
gonna happen. So beautiful. How would you describe your music?
Mm. I mean, my music, obviously, thematically, it deals with love,
Yeah,
and all different facets of love, self-love, romantic love, familial love, just love in general. And
yeah.
then musically, I'm really inspired by 70s soul music in particular.
Hmm.
So the album Songs of Love and Freedom was definitely inspired by mostly 70s soul music. I was listening to
Yeah.
a lot of Minnie Riperton and the Isley Brothers and Gil Scott-Heron
Oh,
and Norman Connors, which is producer who primarily did things in the late 70s and the 80s. But then for Awakening Part 1, there wasn't really like a specific musical influence that I was pulling from. I
yeah.
just kind of let the music go where it wanted to go. And I think that it's interesting because I feel like every song on the project sounds totally different, but somehow I
I
feel
was
like
thinking that too.
they work
Because I
together.
started,
Yeah.
yeah, I started with Awakening Part 1 and then I moved on to the next album. I was like, okay, it's different, but it's still her. It just sounds like you wanted to try something a little different, but it's still you. I love it all.
Thank
Wow,
you.
what's your favorite song to perform? Another
That's a
hard
good
question.
question. Oh wow, that's a hard question. Oh, you know what? I think I know. I think it's Don't Hide the Sun, which is from Songs of Love and Freedom. And I
The
like to
last one.
perform that one because when I do it live, we do like a long version and I have the audience sing with me and
Yeah.
I have the band take their solos and that's usually how I end the show. So I really love doing that song just because it's usually the culmination of everything, and I get to have the audience participate. So I love that.
And let's play Don't Hide the Song. And this is currently off of the album. Let me go here. Songs of Love and Freedom. I'm gonna play Bro also too. That's another one I've been playing over and over. Your band is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, that guitar. Who was that playing the guitar in that song?
That was my guitar player Zach, my friend and guitar player Zachary Cutler. We've been playing together for about 6 years now, actually.
Wow. So do you have your own set band or do you just hire different bands?
When I perform in DC, I have my own band, and
Okay.
most of the players stay pretty consistent unless they're unavailable. Then I'll pull in other people. But I've had the same four-person band for quite a few years now. And we
Wow.
perform, if I perform on the East Coast, I'm usually working with them. We go to New York, we go to
Yeah.
Philly, go to North Carolina, that type of thing. But it's usually the same people. If I go on the West Coast, then I work with some other people who are also amazing. But it's
Yeah.
always good to perform with my band.
Okay. So the last question, if you could perform with anyone, collaborate, who would be your dream person? I have a lot of hard questions. I love it.
That's such a hard question. I honestly feel like this changes every other day.
Yeah.
Like I hear a new song and I'm like, "Ooh, who is this? Ooh, I love them." Like it's
That's
it's
the best way to discover music. And that's how I discovered you and so many of these other talented artists is by just coming across a song and then you start digging into their catalog. You're like, wow, I like this person.
yeah, and I want to thank you too for taking the time to really dig into my
Yeah.
catalog because I know a lot of people now, they hear one song on a playlist and they're like, "Oh, this is cool." And that's it. They might like it and they don't take the
Yeah.
time to really look up the artist, listen to other work, listen to
Hmm.
past projects. So I want to appreciate you just for being a true
Oh,
music
thank
lover.
you.
Don't stop, no. 'Cause you must grow, go within. 'Cause you must grow. World seems lost, but don't be afraid. Though I feel helpless, it'll be okay. Too many hurt, but don't you run away, no. Too many being selfish. Don't you be selfish. 'Cause deep down in my core, I know I can feel it, y'all, that we can do more. So let's do it. And taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm also using that as an excuse to think about the answer to your question, which I think, I mean, there's a lot of people, but for right now, I'll say Raphael Sadiq.
Okay, Raphael. I've never heard of him. I have to look him up on
You
Spotify.
have, though. He was in
Yeah.
Tony. And
Him.
he's written for everybody. And he also has amazing projects of his own, but he's written a
He's
lot
writing
of
for
songs you
Alicia
love.
Keys also. Did he write for
Yes.
Alicia Keys? Okay. I know
I'm
exactly who you're
not
talking about.
positive if he
Is
wrote for
it?
Alicia Keys. I know he wrote, that D'Angelo song? You're my lady. You know that song? He wrote that
Oh
song.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs. He also co-wrote "Cranes in the Sky" with Solange.
Oh wow.
I mean, and then he has his own projects that are really good. But you should definitely look up
Yeah.
Raphael Sadiq. He's like a legend. He's legendary.
I didn't know he had his own music. Wow. Wow. I'll definitely have to look him up after this, especially Cranes in the Sky. I mean, I think that's kind of like the Black Girl Statement album there. That album
Yes.
was such a statement piece. And I know a lot of your music videos are definitely targeted to us as Black people. And I definitely appreciate that, especially with Clumsy. So many beautiful, I try not to show favoritism, but I love being a Black woman. I love my Black people. So that's why I wanted to make this segment to just showcase other talented artists who love, people are watching the reaction videos. They come there for a particular artist. And I have so many friends have said, hey, Kayla, I love that artist that you had for this week. And I never wanted to have anyone on this segment that I didn't listen to their music. So
Hmm.
I'm always going to be a fan of yours. When this new part 2 come out, I'm definitely going to be sharing it and posting it because I just
Thank
love
you.
what you stand for and your music. And so we're going to end the show with Hope. So how did you come up with Hope? Because that song, I was working today, I work from home, and in particular, those emails was coming in, and I said, okay, no more emails. I said, let me listen. The next song was Hope, and
Hmm.
it just really drew me in. So what was your inspiration behind Hope?
So hope is I know I said most of my writing is very collaborative. This is a song that I wrote by
Yeah.
myself because it's just vocals and percussion. But I was
Yes.
lucky enough to be able to record it with like a lot of my friends who are amazing singers, which is like the choir you hear behind me. But
Yes.
I wrote this song. I think I started writing it. This was a song that it didn't come to me. I kind of pieced it together over time, over probably a period of
Mm.
like a year from different things I had written here and there. And it's inspired by like African American traditional shout spirituals, with that call and response
Mm-hmm.
and that very
Yeah.
um what they would call them is like a clave rhythm in Latin
Mm-hmm.
music, but it's like a stick rhythm in traditional, spirituals.
Yeah.
That stick rhythm is very African, and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of it feels like a chant.
Yeah.
It's a ritualistic thing, so it's meant to almost put you in a trance. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the inspiration was really just constantly hearing these stories of you know, just people, especially young people being murdered by the police. And
Yeah.
just it was two quotes actually. I'm always inspired by quotes. So I saw this quote
Yeah.
from Ida B. Wells, who was a anti-lynching activist and journalist in the turn of the century, not this century, but the last century. And she wrote, "If I could, I would wrap the race up in my arms and fly away with them." And I just thought that imagery was really powerful, and I thought that
Mm-hmm.
that was so relatable that sometimes you really don't you just want to fly away. Like you just want to go to a place where you feel free and accepted and
Mm-hmm.
valued and safe. And
Yes.
so I wanted to kind of balance that with this other quote I heard from James Baldwin, of course, who's an
Mm.
amazing writer, philosopher.
Yeah.
Um, and he, in an interviewer asked him, would you tell your nieces and nephews that there's no hope for the future in terms of race relations in America?
Oh
And
wow.
he said, no, I would never tell my young people that there's no hope.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to take those two ideas because I feel like they exemplify so much of what you experience as a Black person in America. Just like
Mm-hmm.
constantly feeling like I wish I could really just escape this BS, and just
Mm-hmm.
take my people and go. And at the same time, knowing that like my ancestors have been here, like I am a product of what has happened before. And therefore, I know that there's
Exactly.
hope for the future, and I can't
That's,
give that hope
yeah.
up. Like it exists, it's real. So just
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like constant back and forth that you feel. And that was kind of the inspiration for the song.
Especially, I've spoken with a lot of people this year. Everybody just seems to not even just financially. Everybody seems to be going through something. And this song right here was so purposeful because we're just going to be hopeful. Everything that goes on bad with the killings, I always try to stay positive. It's going to be better. Everything's going to be okay because I can't allow myself to think, oh, we're just going to be stuck in this place forever. Because once you get stuck in that mindset, it's hard to get out. And
Yeah.
I love this single, Hope. So we're going to play Hope. Such an inspirational song. It just, if you just sit there with your eyes closed, it'll definitely take you somewhere. It just let you just sit there and just think about all the bad things, just put it behind you and just think of forward. So that was definitely a great inspirational song. I wouldn't say that it's more gospel because there are a lot of inspirational songs that even play on the gospel channels also. So that's why I kind of gravitated to Hope, like, oh, perfect, perfect, especially what's going on here in Nigeria. I'm pretty sure you've heard of what's going on over there. The videos, I can't even look at the videos anymore. It start. I'm very emotional, so little things like that, seeing things like that, I'll just break down and cry.
Yeah.
So that is a perfect song for everyone. So Cecily, what is next for you? You have
So
anything coming up?
I do. So I just started getting back in the studio, and I have a new single coming
Mm.
out in on November 11th, 11/11, and
Oh,
new song, new video, and this is the first single from my upcoming project, Awakening Part 2. So I'm very excited to share that with people, and hopefully the new project will be out early next year. So that's what I have
oh,
coming up.
perfect. I want to say thank you so much, Cecily, for even, I feel like you have accomplished so much. So I'm so happy that you were able to be on my show with me and I get to share my music with people on the show and people that follow me so they can discover you also too. And I just want to say I hope that you and your family stay safe. I always tell everyone that COVID is still out here, people.
Mm,
Okay? Just because people are not talking about it or, we have a president that doesn't care too much, COVID is still out here. So we have to be
yeah,
safe, especially with our children. My daughter, I don't think she's going back to school this entire school year. Our immune system is very low, so I'm not taking that chance.
yeah.
So thank you so much, Cecily, and I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, it's Kayla got the 411. If you want to keep up with me, all you got to do is just go to Google Kayla got the 411. It will let you know everything that I have going on that first page. I have made sure of that. Or you can just go to YouTube, my main channel, and watch the show, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you to everyone who leaves amazing comments and reviews under the comments. I read them and I truly appreciate them to the point they make me tear up. Also, my streams on Apple have been going up, so that lets me know that you guys are enjoying the audio from the videos on YouTube. So if you're listening on Apple, go ahead and drop your girl a review. And I truly appreciate everything that people are saying, nice comments. You know, if I'm able to make you laugh and smile, that's all that matters to me. My content clearly shows that I enjoy doing what I'm doing because I always have a good time. And just a quick update that I'm now on Pandora Podcast. So you can listen to me on Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and of course, watch me on YouTube. So thank y'all so much, and I appreciate all the support, truly.